I didn't think this would just be immediately taken away, but like they are very nervous about that coming across. Yes, you had EasyLove play a game of it in his regular season, but still, bit of a mix-up. AShe, very high priority though, and I think this is, it's a no-brainer to try and take this one.
Yeah, AShe, one of the biggest picks, and again, has been banned many, many times. Dagda, where else? And Aurora is another one as well, we saw last game.
Yeah, the Aurora, it'll just be first picked away here, because we haven't seen a huge amount of it. Obviously, it was globally banned. VCS was one of the regions that was still playing it, so it will be Hawks trying to take that one away, but I think you can try and play into this with like long-range poke. I was about to say with like an AShe and a Syndra and these kind of things.
True.
So I think with those still up and available, Hawks are just going to go towards the AShe, but it will be GAM who are immediately going to take that on the opposite side, and then the jhin to try and basically run back what is a very similar composition to what they had.
Yeah, again, you know, 2 pieces of the 5 from before, as you said, as they try to run it back. Let's see where SoftBank go from here, because the Hawks, as you said, want to add in some range into the mix. This time they take away Elio's Poppy that was so good in the last game as well. The Rumble to add into the mix here is repeating the matchup, which again, even in the 1v1 lane without Levi's attention, didn't look that great.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan. Rumble got nerfed, and I think a lot of people are kind of expecting him to slip on out of the meta. The fact that you're kind of like, hey, we banned the K'Sante, we're going to just immediately go towards Rumble. I thought we'd actually see an R or something for Ebby, just to be like, hey, look, this is something that still fits in the meta, still fits his style, a champion that he's very well known for, but just not really feeling it and wants to continuously go back towards his pick. And it does mean now as you start to come in towards this is GAM, you can go towards the Lee Sin that was hovered, you can go towards something like the Jarvan, even take that away from Hawks so they don't have this big wombo combo go button. And I think you're in a good spot as GAM.
I wonder what we're insinuating by getting rid of the Akali. Seen a little bit yesterday as well, 100% win rate after 2 games. And
Dasher used to be a big Akali and
that is a very good point,
so I think
actually.
it's a lot of respect to like his history as a player, but we'll have to see exactly what the plan is here.
Okay, so 1 taken off the board. Dash has also been great on things like the Lucian as well. Although last game wasn't the biggest impact, he was one of the best performing members, and again, has that legacy so far coming through. The SoftBank HAWKS that he has been a bit of a star after 7 years to make it to this moment. Tristana's gone, so we're getting rid of repetition. Yone is still one big thing that was open.
I think the surprising one for me is like not looking at jungle picks. I did expect either GAM to say, hey, look, we want to get rid of the Jarvan, we want to make sure you don't have these gold buttons. Yes, the Viego starts to slip through, but I think this says to me more that they're looking at a Jarvan first rotation themselves. And now for Hawks, it's a case of, do you ban away the Jarvan to not give that over? But either way, I think you're still happy if you go for a Lee Sin here. So I think GAM are definitely coming out top trumps in this draft.
Just waiting for this final ban, because again, things are changing. Do we get rid of mid? You already talked about jungle not being prioritized outside of that Viego. Sejuani, okay, so that limits the pool a little bit more. Jarvan is an option. You already talked about outside of here for GAM 4.
Yeah, I think either that or the Lee Sin. I think you can see either one.
Oh, Levi, Lee Sin, what a treat.
Lee Sin does very well into Jarvan as well, so you can always take that, but hovering the Yone here.
Maybe they blind mid and then what? Jungle counter pick.
So this is actually the pick that I expected to be high, like most banned coming into Worlds.
Yeah, me too.
Yone is an incredibly strong pick and kind of warps the whole meta in that mid lane, but we haven't seen him a lot in Play-Ins thus far, but it does set up really well for you when you already have the Aurora AP damage in the top lane.
Wow, those fast lock-ins though. Let's just highlight Lee Sin LeBlanc here. So the Lee Sin, its setup is going to rely on this mid lane a little bit. This looks like a strong mid-jungle pairing, while on the other side, thinking about that final jungler, they're looking at the Kha'Zix, but it rolls over to the Wukong, which we've now seen twice. So interesting enough, Dagda, we've completely changed the drafts. Yeah, and
Levi's Wukong is absolutely massive for him. He's 43-9 in the pick, at 83% win rate all time. This guy is an absolute beast on this pick, and you set up for an incredibly strong level 6 hit for your mid-jungle. Can play for that engage off of Kiaya now as well. Like, GAM's team fighting is a menace, let alone also that still 1-4 split push that we saw in the last game.
As you're talking about Yone, we expected it to be banned, and a lot of people did, right? Because of how good the jungle pairings are right now and how versatile it can match with said junglers as well. Wukong just another one on the table here with the Leona as a setup for GAM. This time is more concrete. We talked about their engage last game not being as solid. It was relying on the Poppy and a very reactive draft. This time feels like GAM can spin the wheel a little bit more.
Yeah, I think GAM have a great opportunity to try and play for kind of
team value, but Dasher, if you haven't heard of him, after 7 years, finally making the main stage, the international. This guy has been on this roster since the very start. In fact, he even told me at the start he was a top laner in 2020 spring.
Yeah, very first season split bus. I mean, XT1 Challengers player as well. This guy is definitely trying to make a name for himself. And I could do it on the LeBlanc, even opting in towards the Ignite. He wants to play hyper aggressive, and Elio gonna just walk away here. Vsta not quite able to get the stun, but I think this is what you have to do as Hawks. Like, I want to see very early aggression. Marble, Vsta, let's be real, smoked EasyLove and Elio in that bottom lane in the first few levels. They absolutely destroyed them. So I think you try and play through that again, and then just play through this really strong mid-jungle and see if you can pick off Emo at the start of the game.
Mid-jungle is important. Of course, last game, you know, it feels like Kiaya did a bit of smoking up in the top lane himself, of course. And, you know, these guys have got a pedigree. We talk about, you know, Levi versus Evie, but you got to also remember Kiaya versus Evie, well, not direct. We're talking about two Hysterics of the leagues, of their own leagues, rather, as well.
But I think it's also two players that came in and almost immediately made a name for themselves with the style of play that they had. Ebby, we got the thumbs up, but was always someone who had a major impact for the LJL. When he was on Detonation Focus Me, he became, himself and Arya were like the two players you always watched from this region, always expected to make it to that international stage. And it's become very similar with Kiaya, where it has become Kiaya and Levi for this team. They are the two focal points and the talking points for the GAM squad. And Kiaya's been doing a fantastic job. Had a later start to the international stage, but has made an enormous splash when he has. Like, I even consistently remember him for his Jax play, how strong he was, the outplays he'd have. And now the top lane, going head-to-head, it has been Kiaya favored, and the Aurora looks like he'll get the same here once again.
And again, as we look closer at lanes and we look at this jungle start as well, just know that the pathing has started at the bottom side for Forest here, and we mentioned how important mid-jungle is, and we can echo that sentiment for both GAM as well, especially with Levi on this Wukong. There is a ward spotting out Levi, so gonna know his path a little bit deeper, as I think Forest, there's a ward on the top side that just expired as Dasher does some good damage to Emo. My point about Vision is that they know that there's a bottom side start for Forest, despite his lack of top.
This time around, though, Levi is going down towards that bottom side, which may leave Kiaya a little bit exposed in that top lane. So if you end up with the flash slow coming through from the Harpoon, Forest can try and chase down Kiaya in that top lane. So I think you've got options here as Forest as to how you want to approach this, especially if Dasher can get this wave crash for the bounce back. It'll put Emo a little bit more extended in that mid lane. You could potentially look for him.
Just watching the effects of the nerf on the Q there, the flamethrower for Evie. As you know, we have seen some interesting adaptations. I want to see if it is the Electro Harpoon max or if we are just still maxing Q. Remembering it gets better as we get on with levels, so we'll just watch the levels up in the top lane as, but now the wave's pushed out. Kiaya backs off, doesn't expose himself to the potential of Forest being top. As I said before, they know exactly where he is.
Yeah, should be fine. The wave is bouncing back nicely, so not going to be too much of an issue. Hawkshot will spot out.
A broken ability. That still doesn't cost mana. Oh boy. All right, onto Vsta. Good steadfast presence stops him in the way, and Levi just walks through, but Zenith Blade is weighted, and patience is the game. The flash for the Shield of Daybreak, but EasyLove ain't able to get the Deadly Flourish, and GAM now have to back away.
Yeah, a lot invested there by Elio to try and get that play off, but it was always going to be a difficult one to make work just with how well Vsta ended up playing that one. So
true. We'll
be able to flash burnt by both supports, but we'll walk away. I think you're kind of happy as that as Forest, because he's going to get this bottom side scuttle and has already gotten that top end as well, I believe. I know, should be able to walk up and get that top side as well. So I think you're in a great spot now as Forest just off the back of picking up that early advantage.
Dasher stopping the back there, good for tempo again as this Ignite TP LeBlanc. And got traded on back by Emo, but now hits level 5, still has a mana bar to work with for a full rotation. There's a small CS lead, thanks to the pressure from this mid lane as well. And again, as we said coming into this game too, that's exactly how the SoftBank HAWKS want to play this early lane. This LeBlanc in a good state is like ticking the right box this time around.
The issue that I'm seeing here for GAM is that they're just not really finding control over some of the areas that they need, right? Again, you're getting control for Marble and Vsta in this bottom side of the map, which you saw early. You're having way more control for Dasher as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if on this kind of next turn of events, you start to see Hawks looking for these invades with Forest, trying to put pressure on through this bottom side, looking at these early dragons, and just trying to keep GAM in check.
Could interrupt. Well, they're not going to get to the bot side yet because it's still just a 2v2. As you said, how can Forest impact this lane? Still hovering around looking for the secondary clears, and maybe this pressure and this push from SHG leads into an early dragon before grubs spawn in about 40 seconds. Keep an eye on that.
Yeah, this is where Emo really wants to try and get this wave crash. You see playing hyper aggressive on it, so you can make sure it's okay. But Dasher actually kind of has it frozen there, so this is where he's most dangerous. So I think Levi needs to try and come across and help, because you can look Immediately, Forest spots it.
Oh, Fate Sealed gets him out, no, rather does not. Sonic Wave and a resonating strike, but there's no execute. Forest comes close. Emo flashes away and his TP is down. So at least for Dasher, the bare minimum is he gets a shove.
That was really well set up by Hawks. You can see Dasher freezing that wave just outside of reach, and Emo couldn't crash it. And Forest straight away gets into the mid lane to make sure that he's able to help set that up. And now with that control, 6 minutes about to tick over, it's Void Grub pickup for the Hawks.
Now we just have to see if anything can happen through the top side either, because Elio is moving in. GAM are thinking about a play before Evie gets these minions necessary to get to 6, but that's already past due as the wave is cleared out and shredded while Forest just gets underway.
Yeah, I think it's just a nice read by Elio to support his top laner, because I don't think they were really going to look for the play. It was just a, look, there's a chance that Forest is going to try and move up towards this top side, so Elio reads it well to get into position for the Void Grubs, but they get the reset off. Hawks get the Void Grubs, and GAM kind of just stay looking at them here. They might be looking for a bit more.
It's hard with the Poppy. Vsta stops him again. That set past presence annoying as there we go between worlds. Equalizer in response. Forest gets on out and just with a little bit of a pullback, Kiaya threatens, but there's no kill. Ulti's committed, but in the end, Grubs and the power of 3 go over to SHG.
Yeah, not quite level 6 for either of the junglers. Kiaya just trying to see if he can interrupt the reset from Forest, which is nice, but do GAM just now feel comfortable to try and immediately move over towards like a play mid or even looking for that dragon on the bottom side? Because I think you would like to cross map otherwise, or at least get something back here as GAM, because otherwise you just spend a lot of time looking.
Vsta, you're going to look with your eyes, but hit with your hammer, it seems, as Elio's a level down. It's not going to matter until you see the damage comes through from Vsta. The re-engage with the Zenith Blade, but Elio is going into Fog of War and into danger. Forest gets out with a flash, but in the middle, Evie is cooking him alive! Levi's hit with the burn down damage, and Levi's spacing. Evie almost gets on out. The Electro does good work, but Vista's there to receive. We get messy, we get down and dirty, but that's exactly where SHG want to be in the early game, as Dasher just needs this chain to connect. A stun up, a triple already going over to Kiaya, but Dasher needs another rotation. Distortion, auto, 2 kills, and now we're fighting blood with blood.
What the hell is going on in this top lane? The objective is gone. The fight shouldn't happen, but both of them just square up, look each other in the eyes and say, let us at them. And you can see here, right, Elio backing up, just ends up getting cancelled, knocked into the wall. Levi's here to support him, but it's 2 versus 3 as Forest got interrupted on his reset on top side by Kiaya, and now Dasher, first move on mid, gets the damage down. Vsta ends up being able to walk away just a smidge, as Forest does as well, but it's the re-engage that gets the most dangerous, because they try to help out Evie, try to support out Dasher as he goes in on the Yone, but now you've got the follow-up coming through from Hawks again, and Kiaya tries his damnedest, finishes off 1, but just not quite enough left in the tank to finish off Dasher as well.
I mean, a triple kill over to Kiaya. That was a bloodbath.
That was insane.
Man. It's like trying to get fast food on a Saturday in the morning before you take your kids to football. So, honestly, no personal experience with that one, but I know what it's like, Dagda.
Yeah, I think the big things you now need to look at is the 700 gold lead that is for Kiaya in that top side, and the 700 gold lead that's for Dasher in that mid lane.
Yep.
These are now the 2 people that we need to look at. Kiaya did a great job in the team fights of finding opportunities to set up the game for GAM, whereas when you look at Dasher, it's going to be about trying to see if he can find EasyLove in the fights and burst him out. The fact he's so accelerated is going to work out brilliantly for him.
But I mean, again, you know, this is what we talked about. Dasher with an almost 1k gold lead. Things are going well, despite that triple kill on the top side. You know, that 1k gold lead for SHG means that mid is always under fire, always in a good spot. Forest taking advantages, getting first dragon, as well as those 3 grubs before. Things are looking good in Game 2, and it's a really nice bounce back when this is a different draft adaptation that we've come into for the reset of this second game.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of learnings from Hawks as well, right? Where it was, hey, we can still have our pressure on bot side. Marble and Vsta definitely getting the better of EasyLove and Elio when it comes to the 2v2, but it's now about how we start to rotate around the map, how we are able to influence the game to play off of our strengths, which is through that mid lane, setting up for these plays on top side as Dasher.
Oh, jumps back and almost got excited because Emo has Fate Sealed available, but Dasher runs on in as Vsta is once again a nuisance. Fate Sealed used to get on out because this support now lives mid.
They still need to be careful, though. The way grubs is 15, and they want to
call. Vsta's going to hold his line for the time being. The Enchantress arrow stops the engage from following up. The force shot doesn't do too much. Remember, Emo just fate sealed away from there. So Vsta will have no more follow-up, and that curtain call, maybe enough damage to seal away for the grub start.
But that's the thing, you've got the TP for Dasher to get back into lane, so since he was the one that absorbed the most of the damage, he should be fine to get into this. Forest considering a play on top side before they look at the grubs. Spots Elio. Can he get the kick?
Taken. Vsta with the engage again. There's Poppy hitting, blunders into the wall. Elio stunned up again. That W, a nuisance as the first kill goes over to the Japanese representatives. Now for the second as Dasher gets onto Levi in the backside. Dasher is his name. LeBlanc is his game. And with his third kill, SHG are rising to their fame.
And Storm Surge is the damage that they needed to finish it off. Dasher just completing this on his way back. The explosion as he kills Levi. And Hawks taking over in this game. This is perfect for them, and actually a bit of a different style of composition than what we traditionally see for them. Like, this isn't your big wombo comp. This is a, hey, we have to play for these small skirmishes, play for these fights, and Hawks are executing beautifully.
Now a 2k gold lead. The grub snatched out of the hands of GAM, which felt well set up, which felt well played for. 5 grubs over to this comp, and again, Storm Surge already pulled up before. Look at the work it's doing as Emo takes a little tickle to the side. Half HP after one small rotation from this LeBlanc.
And this is where it starts to get really tough, because Emo has to reset. You can see him going for it. He's too low. Another combo from Dasher and he's dead. So now you're starting to creep up on this control in those side lanes, and that's really where Dasher should be able to find his success and match a lot of what GAM want to do in that 1-4 split push. Even Forest coming down just to make sure that, one, he can clear his camps, but two, keep Dasher in check here as well as Emo clears out the wave. Another nice combo. And Emo's going to be forced back.
Yeah. You're right in using the word rough. Second Dragon comes up as he's here again. Yo, Emo and Vsta have been living together, except Vsta takes up 99% of the apartment, and Emo's just in a little corner thinking, when will this guy leave?
Yeah, I just want the living room back.
He's always got friends over, like,
but
please.
Still, this is where you can see Emo now has to TP down into this bottom side of the map just to try and keep up pressure, open up Hawks and look for invade. Elio step forward.
Tempest cripple, sets it up. Forest gets out of the way. Deadly Function finding one, curtain calls there, but the Cyclone in the back end as Forest separates in the Fate Sealed as well. They've isolated one member, and GAM are pulling apart the pieces. Kiaya pops up again, and all of a sudden GAM are relevant in yet another fight as Dasher runs for his life behind enemy lines. SHG, it was going so well, but as Dasher looks for the execute here and will find it, it's still gold back into the pocket of GAM after what we thought was a devastating early game.
Hawks just didn't really know who they were supposed to go in that fight. Elio steps up, but he's a tanky Leona, and so much of that damage ends up getting absorbed. But watch Levi as well. He ends up just getting pushed completely down into this bottom side of the fight, just into the waiting hands of Emo, and Dasher goes in to finish off the low health Leona, but it means that EasyLove has just opened up with that curtain call the entire fight under zero pressure, and even Kiaya just coming in with that TP as well to finish it off.
It's just such an annoying ult. It creates space, it separates, you can't leave it, it does damage.
Look, there will be a copy pasta.
Yeah, there will.
Coming. It's just going to be a matter of time.
Oh my god.
Get someone message Showmaker. We need
we need him hitting the keyboard because, yeah, Aurora, I mean, the damage, you'll be like, yeah, it's only 1700, but Kiaya, who got a triple kill before, just got a double kill again. So this is the 5-kill Aurora top, who once again is contributing so much to the game for GAM. There's almost 2 items here with SHG. Starting grubs in it, or excuse me, Herald in the meantime. Have to still pick apart the pieces and pull back some speed back into their favor, which they found through mid lane earlier in the game.
Yeah, they may even be able to make a play onto this top side. Look at where Levi's gone to. Cleared his red, is now moving down towards the bottom side, which means he's going to be gated from the top end. So Hawks, I'm watching Marble. Does he fish for the arrow? We try to see if they can spot Kiaya.
Kiaya is almost level 11. The arrow, as you said, he goes in and into the Veil, pops back out, Sonic Wave and a safeguard in, but Forrest is Solar Flare. Zenith's Blade in response. Levi's coming. That's a kick onto the supporters. Forrest looks for a way out, but a Cyclone that says no. He gets knocked up a second time and taken down by the GAM captain. One mistake into another. GAM are good at punishing them.
Hawks just weren't quick enough on the trigger pull, and GAM get into position to cover. Kiaya even gets that top wave and the kill. This game is starting to trickle into GAM's favor once more.
This time around, I mean, it was a much bigger lead than the first game. It was a much bigger momentum boost as we look at our picture-in-picture, Emo's hitting a side wave. Well, all that was committed in. He won't find the turret, but this opens up GAM to pick up the bottom side Dragon and stop that stacking that SHG started pivoting towards earlier.
And this is where GAM kind of start to come into their own. The fact that you're constantly getting Elio running around the map, supporting his team where he needs to be. Like, he may not have the flashiest of scorelines, but his positioning on the map and his understanding of where to be has been crucial to GAM finding their way back into this game. And now it'll be on him once more to try and work with Levi to get control of these lanes. Dasher is still a problem. Emo hopefully won't have a problem.
Vsta, he's back again. Dagda, he's back again. He's back again. He's back again. Emo's screaming in comms. He's back again. Evie tries to burn, but as he overloads and overheats, he holds off. The equalizers there. Emo gets out with a fake seal. It gets him over the hot coals for the time being as SHG are bringing some pace back, trying to get their game inside.
They want to try and get this bot lane turret. Levi being pushed out of his own jungle. He doesn't have that Cyclone available quite yet, so I don't think GAM want to try and take the fight, but it will be Dasher who teleported in. But I think it's a trade of towers, and in the grand scheme of things, I kind of favor GAM off the back. They didn't have to burn the teleport for Dasher to get down here. How much can they get off the Herald, though? Maybe a second charge? Could they get the tier 2? It's fairly risky from this position as Levi's ultimate's just about to come back up.
Well, Forrest is the one who's going to take it, gets a good charge, half HP. As you said, what else are they going to find? I mean, SHG got grubs before, so they might do some damage, but as you said, you're favoring GAM because we look at mid, we look at top. What else happened through? Hang on, heavy flash from Kiaya. Between worlds, he tries to kite it out, but he's not going to get too far. Evie has an electro harpoon waiting, burning, ticking. Kiaya's shut down, and Evie will not go quietly.
The revenge Evie desperately wanted finally manages to get his hands on the bunny and put it in her place. And now you've got a lot more ease of access for Hawks onto that top side of the map. They can start to push out these lanes. The flash burnt on both sides means that at least Kiaya is a little bit less threatening when it comes to an upcoming fight as well, because you more than likely expect that kind of flash into setup with an ultimate play towards Dragon in 3 minutes time. But this is a very close game. Both teams going all out on this.
I've enjoyed both these games, honestly. When we were like, yeah, the early game's not really, that great from either teams. We saw a game one that was very to and fro, that was kind of testing each other. This game even more so. It's been enjoyable because, again, when this is the, the last hurrah of these individual regions before they all come together, it is nice to see the top of the competition from both VCS and PCS. Now, this game is dead even. We talked about Dragons being one apiece before. Baron is up in 2 minutes. That's to note as grubs are there over the wall. Elio is isolated for the time being. Evie can do a bit of work here, but with Emo nearby, he chooses not to as Evie just walks back to the wave and catches. He's going to use the equalizer as well, but for the meantime, nothing else is up as it looks like it's going to be a repeat on the top side. Emo is looking for Evie. Doesn't get the knock-up in the end as we look top.
Yeah, again, it's kind of Levi covering for Kiaya, and you've got Elio's covering on that bottom side for Emo. So a lot of GAM just trying desperately to get control over these waves in the side lane and hope they're okay, but we'll have to wait and see.
Well, they're trying to open up mid for the time being. It looks like SHG open up mid and then maybe get some good back time as Dagda and 4-headed, 5-headed into the next Dragon, but even with Demolish, even with the 5 grubs, too scared since Levi is always hovering, as you said, but look at the meantime. Dasher hitting sides, or rather Emo, excuse me, and he just takes down a side lane turret. Consistency is key.
How much can Dasher do, though? These are the 2 fave members of either side, but honestly, I kind of give it to Dasher with just how much damage this LeBlanc can churn out of this stage. Hasn't quite got her second item completed, but still just does so much work in these early stages. You can see Kiaya has to give it so much respect.
But this time Forrest is a little bit earlier. Sonic Wave doesn't connect. Elio hovers once again. The double burst comes through, but clone passive comes out from Dasher. Kiaya gets some good trades off. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like Dasher connected everything.
The thing is, though, we're going to get in a bit of a split map here. Forrest is going to be able to take the red and that top side jungle, whereas when you look at Levi, only going to be able to get the Raptors. Even Evie starting to come across to try and keep control of that. But if you're keeping this vision control that you can see on the bottom side of the map,
show me.
For GAM, it's going to help out quite a bit when it comes to this Dragon in 45 seconds. A lot of second item at least completed here for EasyLove, but you're still waiting for stuff like the Black Cleaver on Levi. But yeah, I think with Kiaya now having finished both of his items, GAM feel to me in a relatively good spot. I think they need Dasher. Has he gone back? No, he's still a little bit off from completing the Shadow Flame. So I think they would like to sit him in a lane for a little bit before they can test for this, but I think they're just going to miss that timing window.
Yeah, maybe, again, as you said, if that timing window's off, maybe, you know, third dragon of the game isn't the biggest be-all, end-all. You know, that win probability powered by AWS, it's gone down a little bit. It was really favoring
I like
the Hawks.
the tiny little bit of the red dink that was there just
like,
for a moment.
Baby! Yeah, starting to think, again, as this comp comes together, we know exactly what it does with the setup, with the good engage tools, but SHG now pivoting around Dragon.
But it's GAM playing at the map. Look at where
Kiaya
Emo is, Bus.
into the wall again. TP's going to be burnt from this one as well. The kick back, but Kiaya's okay between the worlds set up as Forrest is now on an angle, wants to get on out, but you look at the main fight, it's already set up thanks to Emo. Levi gets a couple of spins, he dies to Vsta in the end, but all the pieces of the Hawks are flying away. GAM keep it grounded in yet another game, and it works out perfectly for them as Emo's sent back into the pit, and even though Vsta finds these angles, GAM's ability to pick apart fights is second to none in this series.
The Hawks flew too close to the sun.
Oh, yeah.
And they get shot down by GAM where they stand. Thought they could catch Kiaya here, but so many members of GAM were already positioned. I was about to highlight Emo pushing in that side, but again, it's GAM setting up on the map better. And then Levi gets a great ultimate across multiple members here in just a second. The fact that Kiaya is able to escape by bouncing onto the opposite side of his ultimate as well. And then the follow-up damage with Elio CCing people, Emo in the midst of everyone. And you can see Ebby, he's struggling to get into this fight at all.
Yeah.
So for GAM, again, this mapped position, setting up early on towards these fights, getting themselves into River has been so crucial across the course of this series.
And this might be the last time we see Aurora in the tournament. I mean,
Yeah.
this champion absolutely busted in a 5v5, and Kiaya has been playing both games in a row so damn well. We get our goal difference now, and that red tinge becomes a little bit stronger on our screen. GAM now leading with 1k gold lead. They got the Dragon after the fight, and SHG still trying to open up the map a bit more for Dasher as they hover around Baron and clear out vision for now.
But again, it's look at where the lane assignments are. Ebby is sitting in mid, you have double TP. He should be on this bottom wave, pushing it out and looking to try and teleport to the side, but now the pick.
There's no cleanse on this Jhin, but EasyLove has a barrier and flashes away, but Levi in over the wall, and you can see Kiaya again! The worlds are split! This man puts a circle around, gets himself a double, flashes out of the way, the re-engage, and now it's all front to back on the season as GAM time is showing on the clock once more. GAM run down through mid, Forrest takes another auto, Kiaya gets the third kill of the fight, Vista's coming up next as Dasher picked apart some of the pieces on the right, but it was only EasyLove. Nothing's easy about this game anymore for SHG.
Dasher gets EasyLove, but it's GAM who are blitzing through Hawks Gaming right now. Emo on this top side of the map completely pushing in. There is no one to contest them, and every time Hawks try and set up for a fight, GAM are there, GAM are in their face, and they're shutting the door on them.
It's crazy how accurate it's been. It's like GAM might not always have perfect early games, but their ability to come back in fights is always there. And this is one of those moments as we replay how EasyLove started to get picked off.
But again, it's support from Levi. He is always shadowing his team. Kiaya even in position to come through here. And yes, Dasher is able to pick off EasyLove just about on the bottom side. But you can still look at, yeah, Elio is now come into this fight. He's got all the CC to just allow Kiaya and Levi to threaten and run down Forrest and Vsta underneath these towers. There's just zero you can do.
Oh,
and it's happening again.
Kiaya, get this Aurora off my screen. The curtain call will finish off the job. Vsta nowhere to go, slowed down, and it's certain death. GAM are looking at 2-0 this series, and in what impressive fashion is their entrance here at Worlds.
10, 2, and 4. Kiaya shows we need another global ban for this damn champion, but it's too late for the Hawks. GAM are on the Baron. Elio is just going to play bouncer into River, and Dasher, Forrest, what can you do?
Not much, a safeguard in a sonic wave rather, but he's dead in an instant. This Baron is soon to fall. Abby found some leads earlier on, but now a fate sealed, even getting a trade off the two Fed members, the two left standing here in front of the Baron, but Emo's going to take short work, and then the burst is there. The flash over the wall, and Emo now in waiting hands. Dasher's up next, and Japan is unhappy right now with the VCS tearing them limb from limb.
We haven't seen these two regions really face up a huge amount. GAM have not managed to face a Hawks game, have not managed to face a DFM, but they are putting them in their place. And this is incredible. GAM looks so damn good, and I think a lot of people tend to underestimate the VCS and write them off as, you know, they don't know how to play out the map. They only look for these early fights, but GAM are a different beast. They've been to international. They've seen what they need to do to improve, and we're seeing it on our screen.
I'm still recovering from the time they broke top esports. Like,
yeah.
I woke up last night at 3 a.m. I said, not again, please. A 5K gold lead, a Red Bull Baron power play now in the wings. And again, I'm not talking about SHG in this one. TP in the bot side to get that push on. The GAM fans out in force here in the Right Game studio in Berlin. And they came at the right time, didn't they? As GAM look to put these lanes into fruition. What can the Hawks do to defend this? Curtain call definitely not going to give them too many options as the bullets start flying through. Levi on a wing looking for an angle as Emo does the same thing. Dasher with his burst is good. The arrow to punish as well, but the kick's too early. Ignite still gets it through though, but the Cyclone is doing more harm than good for SHG. Vsta runs in and Evie came late between the worlds once more as Evie is left standing. A triple over to EasyLove. Make it a quadra. And at the start of today, I thought, nah, Levy's gonna make Evie hold that L next time.
Evie TP'd in and just saw a wall of GAM members welcoming him to the world stage, welcoming him to Berlin, but very quickly booting them out of this series as GAM will take the 2-0 win.
It's the players you love, it's the organization you know, and GAM time is now, baby. Against SHG. They've come in, they've found their way back in, and with a 2-0 to start off their Worlds run, GAM is here and serious.
There is no time like the present to GAM have made it theirs. An incredible performance. Levi, a beast on the Wukong, showing why he has been so feared on it for so long. And across the board, step-ups. Aurora. This champion.
Aurora, never again, I think. Never again. I mean, they're shocked. It felt like a Hawks win. It felt like a Hawks early game where Dasher snowballs, takes over. We saw it against Frank Esports in that lower bracket final. You know, Dasher can take over games, but GAM's ability to be fortuitous in that series was insane. A 2-0, the fans happy they came to see this today.